Hey everyone, I'm Karen Walby-Solomon and welcome to What's IGN Crushing On, IGN Africa's official entertainment podcast. I'm your host and I'm joined as always by my producer and editor Rebecca Barches. So this is a show where we discuss all things entertainment and pop culture with a new guest every week. We bring recommendations, news and fun facts, sometimes touching on the more serious issues surrounding these topics.
Party people, where you at?
I wake up every morning. It's the same thing all over again.
You're late again.
You know I'm taking care of my entire family.
It isn't.
You keep wondering when your day will come to be happy.
Welcome to the 5th annual JIVA auction dance competition.
You think this is wise?
It's R1 million. And
What if you don't win? I'm going to win this competition. Ladies, I'd like you to join my new crew. She's in.
I know your dancing crew is lacking a few members. You may know someone who's willing to help you out.
Do you know how to jive? Uyamlalela babes.
Devon, make some noise for the Soweto Cats.
Do you know why the Soweto Cats are the reigning champs for 3 years straight? Because they're dedicated.
You're actually doing this for yourself, for revenge on your ex.
What's going on here?
Go back to work now.
You are black. You are beautiful. And the world needs to see it.
We can win this thing. We need to focus on what is important.
You're busy chasing a dream that you might never achieve.
Believe in me.
We can do it.
Now is your time.
JIVA.
Of the new Netflix series JIVA. Later on in the episode, we have interviews with amazing casts. But before we get to that, we also chatted to South African actor Neil Sandilands, South African actor and musician Neil Sandilands. He's been making waves overseas in roles in Netflix Sweet Tooth, News of the World, The Flash, The 100. He's been in lots and lots of things. In addition to the shows he's done here, like Damn and Line and a lot of other things. But this is also our final episode of season 2, which is really sad and all that stuff. But I mean, we have more amazing things coming in season 3. So, but before we get to that, we want to talk about the guests that we've had thus far, because this has been a bumper season of guests. And even though we only like the show was only every 2 weeks, we had like such a lot of guests within that time. So I'm just going to go through the list, and then Rebecca and Leanne, you guys must tell me what is some of your favorite moments. But I just want to like do a little humble brag about our amazing guests this season. So in season 2, which started in January, we had broadcaster Sibongile Mafu, we had director and writer Amy Jefter, we had the cast of Netflix series Faith the Wing Saga, we had our Valentine's Day special with Zama from Starring Cupid podcast, filmmaker and husband of Leanne, Stephen Phillipson, we had actor from Damn, Leah Vivier, we had comedian Waylene Bucas, we had actor, director, writer Sisanda Henna, we had Zianda and Kenya, whose names are both Zianda, but anyway. From Heroin Chic podcast, we had Foyanog, makeup extraordinaire. We had lifestyle writer Helen Wallace. We had actor, director, writer Quinita Adams. Influencer Sadie Torquato. The winners of Love Island South Africa, Timna and Libo. Actor Anton Taylor. Actor Kevin Smith. international entertainment writer Lizette Lanuza, Klubi Mboya, Erica Vessels, and director Donovan Marsh from I Am All Girls, influencer and series queen Rushe Kawa, from The Bachelorette South Africa, Quiniso and Gareth, influencer Akila Harron, and actor and host of Survivor SA, Nico Panaggio, in addition to this week's episode. So guys, I know this is kind of a crazy list, but what were some of your favorite moments? Rebecca, you want to go?
So for me, I think it wasn't necessarily one specific moment, but it was more sort of how at the beginning of 99% of your interviews of the season, you'd start out slightly nervous, and the person you were interviewing was also slightly nervous. And by the end of it, or halfway through, you guys were like best buds. But yeah, so it was just sort of that sort of transition from the beginning of the interview to the end of it, how like you made a new best bud in the space of 20 minutes, essentially.
I think that ties into my favorite part, which is with Anton Taylor, where you both fangirl so hard over what is his name? Carly Rae Jepsen, where you guys like literally fangirl, and you could see. Yeah, but it was so amazing to see the difference after that moment where he was like, oh, this person is really cool. I'm gonna stay here now.
I still really love Carly Rae Jepsen. She's amazing.
But I think that's what the podcast does, right? Like you think you have a really weird or strange take on something, and then you find people that have the same thing, and that's what's so amazing about chatting to all the different types of people.
So true. Like I actually can't choose a favorite moment, because it was just gift after gift after gift, these interviews. Like there were so many great moments, and there were so many people that I just got to get to know because of these interviews. And so many, like, the season also had quite a few good friends of mine as well, and we became even better friends because of it, I think. Not Helen, I think. We've been good friends before this. I don't think that's changed much on our relationship. but everybody else, yes.
Are we allowed to talk about how in the season you collected all your Isidingo stars?
2 Isidingo stars. Not all.
Well, okay, let's go soapy, South African soapy stars. Because you've got Klubi, you've got Nico Panaggio, you've got Kevin Smith, and you've got Neil Sandilands. Yay!
I'm sure more of them will start in soaps, but for me, it's like that phase, like early 2000s, when I used to watch a lot of soaps. That was like those are like the pure soap stars for me. Like the newer ones, I'm sure are also good, but I mean, I don't watch as much now as I did then, and so yeah,
it was like an era-defining cast of people between the major soapies, and so to get them on the show is super impressive.
Is Oba still alive? Of Seven Line?
Yes, he is. Shame. I know I said shame. He's alive. It's a good thing. Yeah, no, he's still alive. A lot of the mains, shame. Madel is really ill now. Do you remember Madel to Blanche?
Who is that? Who did she play?
She was Jan Hendrik's mother.
Oh, that was the character
in Seven Line.
Oh,
Oh gosh.
I only remember Obas, Hilda. What's her name? The wife.
Hilda.
Hilda. And Nico Panaggio, and Neil Sandilands, and obviously Charmaine, Vanessa, Xander.
She's like naming all the characters. The thing is that Jan Hendrik always reminds me of Rebecca, because Rebecca didn't like Jan Hendrik because he wore t-shirts under his shirts.
Nobody liked Jan Hendrik. Sorry to say this.
Yeah, and that was her reason, because not because of his character or because he was annoying or because he kept on fighting with his brother Tian. It's because he wore t-shirts under his shirts.
Listen, you make me sound so basic. This is high school. Can we just like focus on the fact that we were in high school?
Yeah, Neil Sandilands also said like his wardrobe in Seven Line was a bit problem.
I love that we can acknowledge this moving forward. Like, we know this was mistakes that were made. It's brilliant.
And they always
Oh
used to
god.
put Felicity and Vanessa in those like colorful
Oh
outfits with
no.
all those
And the outtakes with the long
ridiculousness.
skirts and the long sleeve
Yeah.
tops. Oh, no, it was terrible. It was really bad.
And beads.
Beads all the
Everywhere,
time,
beads.
beads. Also, quite an
Yeah,
interesting
what?
thing in Juanita Adams' interview, she spoke about how they dress colored women or women that are chubbier in like bright colors and with a lot of accessories. Like that is
Because they
something that
think
is
it
often done.
distracts from,
Yeah. Or
yeah.
it softens them, or I don't know what, I don't know. But that's also, if someone's gonna, that was quite interesting. Feel free, feel But yeah, let's go into the interview with Neil Sandilands, and then at the end we can chat some more about fun things and and do our cashing on and all the other bits and bobs. Okay, so here's a chat with Neil Sandilands. So how are you? How has this year been for you?
Wow, like a two-stroke engine, it's been oscillating like that. In fact, since February 2020, when I got back home, it's just been going non-stop. My experience of the last year and a half, I'd have to just confess, has been markedly different than I think most other people's experiences. I've been working non-stop, which is amazing. Yeah.
I was wondering, so you did Damn last year. So did you film that,
Correct.
while you were in South Africa?
Correct. Yes. I literally dovetailed it like that. I went, I shot Damn, and they were kind enough to do all my scenes in 2 weeks for Damn. Then I left straight from there to go and shoot Sweet Tooth. And I left straight from Sweet Tooth on the 21st of December and immediately started working on 2 other projects, my album, which is part of the series Desert Rose for show. I can't really say because they're not sure which broadcaster is going to take it. But it's either Mnet or Showmax. So but that's a good problem to have because, and so that's called Desert Rose. So I was really, really lucky to, I did a radio drama as well. I did one of my own projects, and that all in the course of just over a year. So it's been an incredibly busy and satisfying, gratifying year, And
so you guys filmed Sweet Tooth during the pandemic. Wasn't that eerie?
Of course. I mean, you could just think we had to jump through so many hoops. Logistically, you had participants from all over the world. We were in the height of lockdown, so you had the protocols, the independent nation state protocols pertaining to COVID and their handling thereof. So I never really, I knew it was happening and you go along with it, but I don't think anyone ever really became glib, There was this low, and I think it informed the work, certainly, because we were shooting a series about a pandemic in the height of a pandemic. How about that? So the serendipitous quality of it all, I think, maybe there's a person who knows exactly how it came about, precisely the way it came about. But I think most of us, certainly me, I'm a little bit astounded about the serendipitous nature of it all. Yeah, there's a healthy measure of disbelief.
Because as I was watching it, I was like, I got so anxious. I'm like, this looks very, very familiar. Everything that is happening in this show. I mean, and I can't imagine actually having to be on that set and creating that kind of atmosphere.
Well, yes. By the time we got into shooting, we've been they were halted before they could proceed. So I think that gave them a little bit of time to take actual real life occurrences and incorporate that into the offering, because now we had scientific, real, theory that we could incorporate. And I think they did a remarkable job of being really, really relevant and present with the presentation.
So what attracted you to this project?
A good bit of fortune, I'd say. I had the opportunity of working with Jim Mickle and Linda Moran in New Orleans on the set of Hap and Leonard, which is on the work of Joe R. Lansdale. And that was our first sort of interaction. And then I knew Jim was involved, and agency secured an auditioning opportunity for me. And Jim and I started talking. They were very positive about that. And then it went my way. But certainly Jim Mickle, I think, had a lot to do with it. And, I just said this, and I'd say it again because I absolutely believe in it, is the human connection of working with a fellow collaborator somewhere on his trajectory, and then rejoining forces a little bit later. And, he's gone from strength to strength. He's done films. He did Happen Leonard as well. And then he teamed up with Team Downey on this. And it is so wonderful to see somebody that just really, firing on all cylinders. It's very satisfying. So that was a great allure, just working with Jim and Linda again. Then secondly, I got presented the script, and I thought it was excellent. I looked at the character, and I thought I could have a lot of fun with it. I really did. And then they informed the collaborative experience of it, the production design, the costumes, etc. They informed it to a great deal as well. So it just all around, a lot of yumminess, a lot of sweetness, going on.
So, with the character of General Abbott, did they give you a backstory for the character, or was that just all your own research? Or?
Well, there's obviously Jeff Lemire's work predated the series, the adaptation thereof, and there was really very little available online. I did do due diligence. I got a glimpse at the comic version of Abbott and whatnot, but I decided sometimes you make calculations. Usually I've done series like Orion, for example, which was a local series, which was based on a novel. And in that instance, I made sure that I understood the novel inside out. With this one, I decided to singularly focus on the script and not inform it as much because I knew it was a departure already, a little bit, but a healthy departure, I'd say, and come up with something that I thought was respectful of the material, but also imbue it with some of my understanding at that particular time, So I deliberately didn't want to, and I wanted to discover it as we go along. I wanted to be real crisp to my collaborators, the other performers, because they see their characters in a particular way, and I wanted to be open and receptive to that in the moment.
And the look, who decided on the look of Abbott?
The look came about, I think, also by chance. I was in lockdown and I was in the bush in the Rivier here. So, there was no point in shaving, really. And then I did a local project, the Ballade from Frickin' Dot, in which I had the beard and shaved the head. And then it grew back a little bit, but I didn't cut the beard. And then I did the audition that way as well. And, we weren't fixed on any look. And then just prior to me leaving for New Zealand, the hair and makeup department called and said, listen, do you still have the beard? Don't cut it. Now, by that time, it was growing to, it had a life of its own. And we went for that look. And, obviously we sent it to the broadcaster, and we explored a little bit about how it might go. And then eventually they settled on that and said, okay, keep that. It's the shaven head and the beard. And we went with that.
So you've been playing a lot of villains lately. Is that something you enjoy doing, or is it a meatier character, do you think?
Well, I could say that I spend a hell of a lot of time thinking about what I do. And part of that would be true. There's also a part that is true. I left going to America rather late in my professional career. I only went there permanently in August of 2014. So, when an offer comes your way, it's not necessarily a case of you are exercising discernment, maybe the script is not for me. You have to actively start building on a body of work. So when opportunities come your way, you take it with both hands, There's definitely that element to it as well. And this was just such a great opportunity. There's that, and I think there's a kind of a fatalism that was underpinning this entire COVID experience, is the idea of not knowing, and we still do not know. It underpinned the importance of breath for me. You're still breathing, so whilst you're still breathing, try and manifest and, be a decent human being, kind of try and do all of that. So getting the opportunity to do something like that, I went at it with full faculty.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, we recently spoke to Nico Panaggio, and he was saying that the original group of actors from Seven Line had like an acting crash course that he said he'd never experienced anywhere else, like with discipline, with having to learn the lines. I'm not sure, but did you experience that? Was it like a moment in time?
Are you talking about Seven Line necessarily?
Yes.
I was fortunate that my trajectory started at age 14, and I was shooting on film on huge series like Meester and Kunene. So that's where I cut my teeth in this environment. By the time I was on Seven Line, I certainly, I was no foreigner when it came to sets, but soap is a very definite discipline. There's structure, a hell of a lot of structure to that. If you think about the way that it's made, it needs to fit into a particular time slot. You've got a VT person there literally going by line. Okay, that's a cutting point. So there's a precision crafting that goes along with soap. And then there is the tedium of it, because it's never saturated. It just goes on. And I think it was, certainly for me, it was at the time, I was very young. It was an opportunity to explore yet another medium. By then I've explored film, the short film, multicam, single cam, and certainly stage, so I've done the entire gambit of performance, interpretive presentation. So I thought it a very valuable asset to know how multicam works and settling into the discipline of it. Having said that, also, as different applications for different outcomes, film requires a certain approach. Soap, and they're not alike. They're not alike. You also run the risk of developing very bad habits in soap, I'd say. Not because of anyone's wrongdoing, just that is the beast it is, you know.
Mm.
Yeah.
So what would you like to do next? Like, you've done so much in your career, like
I'm particularly enjoying, for me, this is for Neil, I'm really enjoying the collaborative experience of making music. I've made the album now, and that went straight to #1 on iTunes, South Africa, and I was kind of blown away by that. And it hasn't even really started because it's sort of attached to the series Desert Rose, which is coming out next year, where I play this character Freddie, who's a balladeer, right? And some of the music is featured in Desert Rose. So that was, I mean, at age 46, to discover like a new plaything, because I never considered bringing out a solo album. And even in the beginning of 2019 or 20, I didn't know that I was going to be making an album. We just kept on creating. And I found it a particularly satisfying extension already of what it is that I've got in the oeuvre. And I do enjoy it so. It's very pleasant, because if you write a lyric, there's an immediate connection between you and your recipient at the end of the day. And then attaching a melodic line to that, I didn't even know I could do that, you know, let alone do it, I guess, well enough that there's public recognition for it. So that was kind of like a new discovery for me. In terms of acting necessarily, there are concepts of interest, themes that I would like to explore more, but it's always, I think script is always the departure point for it. The auteur filmmaker, I think with all the experience that I've sort of built up over the years, I think it would naturally go to directing. But the kind of director that I think where I can make an offering is you have to grow thoroughly into those pores, you know, because it's an understanding of technique, approach, and all of that, where it is sedimented knowledge that you can actually play whilst you're doing it. Play being the operative, as well as having an understanding of gravity, which I suppose you only gain through having lived that amount of time, you know. So I'm putting that out into the ether. Is I would really like to direct, but in that case, and I've directed, you know, but that was more sort of gun for hire type stuff. I've never sort of gone, okay, this is a thumbprint signature Neil Sandilands film. That seems to me to be a good challenge to put out there. So yeah, music. I look at the film as just being a monumental art form, because it takes so much, an understanding of composition, color, rhythm, discourse, technique, performance, artifact, cultural artifact. It's all in there, you know. For me, it's like it's the pinnacle almost of artistic achievement. And I do believe that the feature has the story, has the ability to illuminate and inspire. I do think that. Other than that, fishing.
Sounds legit.
Yeah, I'd like to. I love fishing. That's my hobby. Yeah.
But Neil, thank you so much. Actually, I have like a ton of more questions, but I don't want to take up all your time. But this has been like, I've been watching you for probably my whole life, so this has been such an honor.
Well, thank you very, very much for having me. And whilst it is a local thing, I'm delighted to share that the album's name is Sangoma Sandilands in Your Pasa Posse. It is, you could look it up. It's available on iTunes, all the streaming platforms. There is a vinyl that we are bringing out, which is printed in Croatia, and you can pre-order that through permanentrecord.co.za. And for our English-speaking people, I would definitely say listen to the track Desert Rose, which also features Tracy Lee Oliver. So if I had the opportunity with the making of this album to work with all these amazing South African musicians, I would arguably the best South African, or at least, they're right up there. Kevin Gibson, Skulk Hubert, Jono Sweetman, Inge Beckman, Rael Goodman, Willie Haubrich. It's a fat album, It's really well made. And we recorded that at Theo Krause's studio from the Nude Girls, the Springbok Nude Girls in Belleville. So I think that would be something of particular interest then to a South African and indeed African audience, because I do describe that particular genre as being Africana, as in Americana, but Africana. So I'd be delighted if you shared that with our local audience. Thank you very much for having me, Karen.
Thank you. This was lovely.
Oh, wow. You were lovely.
That was Neil Sandilands. You can find him at Real Sandilands on Twitter and Instagram. And Sweet Tooth is now available to watch on Netflix, all episodes. Listen to the end of the episodes to Yeliane and I's opinion on the show. It was crazy, but also really good. Anyway, you'll hear more at the end of the episode. But before we get to that, we also spoke to the cast of Netflix's new series JIVA, which is a dance show. We spoke to Noxolo Dlamini, Candice Modiselle, Sne Mbatha, Stella, Dlangalala, Zazi, Kunene. While the five girls, form a dance troupe called Trolleys. So basically, Jive is about a talented street dancer from Umlazi, Durban, who must confront her fears and deal with family objections to pursue her dancing dreams. If you love dance movies, this one is for you. And I don't want to waste any more of your time. I want you to hear the show from the voices of the people who created it, who made it so amazing. So here's the cast of JIVA. Okay, maybe you guys can tell me what appealed to you about JIVA. Why do you feel this was the project you had to do?
I think what appealed to me in JIVA was just to be able to tell a South African story, and I think to be able to be a part of telling the story of my people is always such an honor, and also definitely the dancing. I had never. This was my first lead in a television series, and already that sounded incredible to me, and I was not gonna let that opportunity pass me by. So yeah, it was definitely all of that, and just that when I saw that I'll be working with so many women, I was like, this is perfect. This is our time, and I got to work with such incredible women. I think in the beginning I got a bit nervous, and I was just like, ladies can be so tricky sometimes, but we're so mature, which I absolutely love. And we carried it so well, and we carried ourselves so well. And I think we grew closer than we may have thought we would. We're all these big personalities. We all know what we want, and we're all such hard workers. But came together and we created such a beautiful bond, and we really carried each other through telling the story, but also just in our own personal journeys, which was absolutely incredible. I think I got more than I thought I would get out of JIVA, which was just a cherry on top of just being able to do such an incredible project.
And you, Candice?
I think it's important for us to not only capture the reality and the identity of the African narrative, which I think isn't often captured from our lens. So you don't always get the full scope of who and what South Africa is. So that story was important for me first and foremost. But outside of that, in the physical context, was that it's a story of the missing middle. I don't think we have enough narratives where you get to understand the world, the conflicts, the struggles, the loves, the hates of the 20-year-old. That doesn't happen often enough. I think we either are going into our teens, our pre-teens and our teens, and then we go straight into the corporate world and people in their late 20s and 30s. But what happens to the people that are too young to know it all, but too old to be indifferent? And, you know, just really, really gauging that narrative was very important for me, especially as someone that's previously worked on a lot of youthful and very young characters and played a teenager in many shows that I've done prior to this one. So I felt that there was a perfect opportunity for me to step into a mature character, and by the same token, also just then do it on such a brilliant, bold and huge platform on a really great and fun, enjoyable show.
So tell us more about your characters.
So I play Ntombi. The story follows Ntombi's journey. And I think we really try to capture a lot in the 5 episodes of JIVA, because there's so many flashbacks to kind of bring us into where Ntombi's coming from, why she is where she is. And so she's really just juggling, trying to make a living in order to help her family, but also really trying to follow her dreams. She's juggling the fact that her ex is now back in town, and she has a new guy that has interested her and is interested in her rather. And she also seems to be interested in, but she's got this inner turmoil where she's just like trying to follow her dreams, doesn't know how, is afraid to, knows she should, but also wants to do right by her family and especially her mother, I think. So she's blessed to be surrounded by all the people that kind of, I think, make Ntombi a round character, because we get to see her at home, we get to see her at work, and we get to see her with the trolleys, and we get to see her with the 2 gents that are interested in her. And I think all of these characters really just round her off, and we get to see so many sides to her. So just when you think she could be boring, you're like, oh wow, she's just unleashed a whole new side to her. And I think it makes her so real and so relatable and so enjoyable to watch. So that's I think kind of Ntombi. Everybody will have their own opinion on how she is and who she is.
And Candice?
And with Vuyiswa, Vuvu, V, Mga, depending on which context you see her in. Mga is what her and Ntombi refer to each other as, their term of endearment, which derives from Mngani, and Mngani meaning friend in isiZulu. So Vuyiswa is bold, unapologetic, loud, even in her subtlety. She is very assertive, very self-aware and self-assured. But she really is also trying to navigate her way through circumstances that are sometimes unfavorable. And I think many young people can relate to that, trying to find a sense of security, but at what cost? So I'm very grateful that we also then get to see the many dimensions of her experience, where you get to kind of grow with the character, but you see her evolve in beautiful ways. But her evolving also means that there is a lot of peeling of layers. And just like an onion, you know, you just take one layer off and it makes you cry a little. I think that's what you kind of get with Reese, for that the more you get to know, the more you start to see the vulnerability. And it's not just this presentational aspect of her just being very attractive, and what meets the eye is also somewhat deceiving, that you start to gauge with the softness of who she is. And I was very intentional about playing that, and playing her in that way and offering her in that way, that her lifestyle doesn't foreground the character and the essence of who she is. And that's the thing in society. When you see a woman like that, and, you know, with how social media is, that sometimes you only get to see the highlights of the show reel. You get to see the beauty and the best parts, that we don't see what happens behind closed doors. And I'm humbled that the story really explores all of those various layers of her character. It's been nothing but a joy playing her. Yeah, I think she is the ultimate city girl. Like, you know, with the culture of other city girls, you know, we out here, Anna, we getting lit. Like, so reimagining her in a South African context, and also borrowing from worldly views of what a slay queen is. So it's fun. It was fun. It was insightful. And I'm really glad that on a public platform that we get to highlight the reality of real people in real contexts.
So the physical demand of the show, like how much training did you guys do to get into? Because I was tired watching it, so I can't even imagine what it was like for you guys.
I think because we both come from dance backgrounds, I think we were ready for it. I'm very glad that lifestyle-wise, I really do keep an active lifestyle. So that really helped in kind of having more stamina, especially in rehearsals. And in fact, on set as well, because you will shoot one routine a couple of times, because there are
maybe 37 times.
Just about 37 times, you know. And with that, you require a lot of stamina and just physical strength and endurance. So I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that because I enjoy being physical as well. So it wasn't as hectic as I thought it would have been, but I think it is definitely because I'm always so active. I mean, if I hadn't been active, I think, especially in Ntombi being a gqom dancer, wow, that would have been a bigger challenge than it already was. So I enjoyed it. I absolutely loved it.
As far as enjoyment, I 100% share the same sentiments. Where preparation is concerned in a physical sense, not so much as Nox. I mean, I'm grateful again that I come from a history of dance and I come from a history of physical theater. So in the theater realm, I've been a lot more comfortable with the medium, but obviously with this genre and this form of dance, it requires a completely new approach to dance as a whole, which was a great challenge, but one I was willing to fully and completely accept. And my hat goes off to every single choreographer and every single trainer that we had on board, from our head choreographers to the other sub choreographers, and also just the team, and even our trainer, Kunene, who really stretched the length, the breadth, the depth of our range and capacity to really see the task all the way through. So yeah, the preparation, I think, something that also needs to be mentioned is that it's a lot of it is mind over matter. So it's less about what your body can do, but giving yourself permission for your body to go there without placing a veil of insecurity, of judgment on ourselves, but just allowing ourselves to enjoy the process. So the physical strength, the stamina, the body, the fitness. And another tough thing in maintaining the body and the strength of it is that with us not shooting, obviously within the COVID context, we had to maintain these bodies. So we could not, we couldn't, so even at some point we weren't shooting, I think, if Nox could correct me, I think for like 3-4 months. It may have been 3-4 months that we actually stopped shooting altogether because we're in a hard lockdown. So how do you then ensure that you're maintaining character continuity? So things like that, not letting the chin go a little bit lower and the stomach go a little bit further, but ensuring that the same Ntombi and Vuyiso that you first met in the initial scenes are the same ones you're going to see in episode 5. So it's a big thing of an actor's responsibility, discipline, and integrity.
So, I mean, not to give away any spoilers, but both of your characters are involved in love triangles, like various forms of it. So if you had to give advice to your character, what would you say?
Oh my goodness.
You're asking relationship advice. That's not my forte and it's not my line of expertise. Relationships as a whole. I mean, if Reese was giving advice to Reese, it would be go get the bag. But I'm a strong, as Candice, I'm a strong believer that your partner plays a very big role in your purpose. So if it's not someone that's going to feed your purpose or elevate your purpose or sustain your purpose or ignite your purpose, move far away from them. So and I'm trying not to give away too much. That's I'm like, it's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Purpose. Partnerships and purpose.
Yeah. Definitely that. But also if it was Nox giving Ndombi advice, especially knowing what you can be going through, I would just say focus on you, babe. At this point in your life, focus on you. You know, chase your goals and your dreams. I feel like once you do that, everything kind of falls into place, and you start attracting better things because you're also feeling better about yourself, doing what you love and chasing the things that you love and want. So I think that's what I would say to her. Is that what she's gonna do? Oh, we don't know. We don't know.
Nox, you've actually inspired me to also view Risa from a different lens, in that she needs to also find her own identity. So she's always been so dependent on the people around her from a financial point of view and just to sustain herself. So as much as, yes, there is this man that has returned back into her life and she's trying to find her feet around that, but it's important that she's doing it on her terms, on her grounds, and giving herself permission to start over when necessary without having to rely on anyone else but herself.
Exactly. I love that.
So, in African homes, I think we all know that like artistic careers are often seen as unrealistic, as we see in the show. So, I mean, you guys are like actors. So can you tell us like who or what encouraged you to go for like your artistic ambitions?
Since a very young age, I've been supported by my entire family. I was brought up by a single mother, and I've 4 other siblings before me. And all of them have always supported me in what I do. I think when it got to the point where I was going into varsity, my mother got a bit nervous about me going into the arts like completely. And she kind of had to sit me down and say, Nox, I think you might need to find something else. And it was so easy for me to just say to her, there's nothing else that I want to do. There's nothing else that my heart wants to do. There's nothing else I'm going to do. And this is going to work for me because this is my only plan. And eventually she said to me, you know what, I was wrong for ever doubting that, because I saw you growing up and that's all you ever loved and that's all you ever excelled in with all your heart. So I'm sorry I ever made you doubt me. And from now on, I'm going to give you my full support. And that's all she's ever done ever since, till this day.
That's amazing.
I'm blessed to walk, having walked in the same journey that Nox has, in that nothing but absolute support from my family, who have come to every single show, listened to every single radio interview, cut out every single newspaper article. My mom will archive anything and everything that involves her daughters. And by the same token, then the same has been with my sisters, who have also artistically inclined and have been artists their entire lives. But Refile starting off in the modeling world, Winter starting off in dance, and me starting off as an actress. So all of us within our own disciplines were rebelling against the norm and what is deemed the successful journey of a young Black woman. But having had a praying mother that has held our hand in every step of the way has been the ultimate blessing. And I'm one person that says, my mother prays, I can't lose. I mean, she's my ultimate superpower. And the fact that we as a family and have formed this strong force of really supporting each other every step of the way, and also just giving each other the guidance and the honesty that is needed in helping us plan our trajectory in a way that is leaning more towards longevity. So yeah, I'm very grateful to have had that support. And I'm one person that also tries my best to impart the support on other people around me. So it's how I walk, it's how I move. And I hope the story that is JIVA will encourage other parents to see the light in their children and allow them to honor their gifts.
Oh, amazing. So the Trolleys, you guys had such great chemistry. So did you spend a lot of time off screen, like bonding and hanging out with each other?
And a whole lot of
rehearsals lived together.
We really did, though. With all the rehearsals we had, I think it was really, we got to see each other in our strongest, and we got to see each other in our most vulnerable. And I think the moment a person is comfortable enough to show their vulnerable side with you, I feel like you've kind of entered their hearts. And that's exactly what it was with the Trolleys. Even if we didn't do it intentionally, it eventually happened because we spent so much time together. We started understanding one another, starting to understand each other's moods as well, and also respecting how each person feels every time we would meet. So it's really lovely to hear you say that you could see it, because I think we really worked on our bond. I think the first time we had a scene together, it was a bit shaky. We felt a bit shaky, but it was so incredible how it worked perfectly for that scene, because that's exactly how the characters felt. But as time went, we really just carried each other through all the moments. And it was such a beautiful experience with all the ladies. Yeah.
No, without a shadow of a doubt. And I'm grateful that I worked in an environment where we didn't walk with our egos first and our talents secondary. If anything, we made ourselves, and we were responsible for ourselves and our own vulnerability. But the fact that we were able to also access that level of ourselves, but offer it to each other, is exactly what strengthened our bonds. And Nox said it, the minute you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you're tapping into the heart of someone. And we were tapping into each other's hearts. And you know, I'm so grateful, because there were many moments that I was extremely insecure, particularly as a dancer. I mean, you'll find yourself in a space, in a time where, you know, you're standing in your own way, in terms of like maybe getting the choreography or I never, dialogue and, you know, script and character is something I never struggle with. The dance was a major challenge, but to know that I could always, every single moment, trust the woman around me was the greatest thing. Whether it's supposed to be left, right, left, and I'm going right, left, right, I know someone around me will go, hey, Candice, and I never felt offended. There was never a time where someone correcting me was an offense. I always welcomed, and we were all constantly empty cups that were pouring into each other in every moment. And that was that honesty as a storyteller, it is a massive gift. I don't know why I'm getting emotional, but yeah.
Okay, so I have one final question. What is your all-time favorite dance movie?
Woo! Chicago. Mine is Chicago. We went to Chicago.
I love Chicago. But I think I love Chicago. Oh my gosh. But I'm going to name another one. Center Stage. Center Stage. Till today makes my heart dance. Till today.
Perfect answers. Thank you guys so much. This was lovely. It was amazing meeting you.
Thank you very much. Our answer should have been JIVA. We should have said JIVA, but JIVA should have been the first one.
It's a TV show, so it's fine. We understand.
Movie.
Oh, okay. Movie. Okay. Correct. Thank you very much, Karen.
Okay. Bye. Bye, Caitlin.
Bye.
How are you? How's everybody?
Good, man. We are vibes. Excited. Guys, what is it now? 2 days.
Are you
it's
excited?
Tomorrow.
Yes, it's tomorrow.
So excited.
Hello, my women crushes, by the way. It's a Wednesday.
Hey.
Hello, women crushes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so maybe a question for all of you. Maybe could you tell us like what appealed to you about JIVA? Like, why did you feel this was a project you wanted to be involved in? Okay, Sne, you can go first. Sing it, you show.
Oh, yo, you saw me moving that mouth of my neck. So the show is called JIVA. Just it being an African telling story, a story that is based on South African content now, like what South Africa is now. I think that's what attracted me to the show. The fact that Hollywood is coming to us, which is Netflix. Them coming to us and us having the opportunity to go global is what brought me to it. And look, I wasn't an actress before the show, but having my first opportunity to go global, you don't understand how that makes me feel. I also don't even understand. I mean, not understand, but I can't find the right words to express how that makes me feel. And yeah, JIVA just speaks to my dream and my dream for the country and for the future of storytelling in the whole of Africa. So yeah.
Okay.
No, it's sorry, Stella. Stella.
Stella, either of you can go. Zazi, you want to go?
Go, babe. No, Stella can go.
Okay.
You can. That's a go, babe.
Yeah. I think for me, it's so crazy because I support Black excellence, and this is our time to thrive. This is our time to showcase our talent. Sne just put it so perfectly, man. I think that's what's hard with these interviews, because we say things that we relate to, to each other in terms of how we feel about our craft, but absolutely well put. Like our talent is out there, our stories are out there. I think that's what JIVA meant to me when I auditioned. I was like, dance and the dance culture, that is amazing, and that's exactly what's happening right now. You can see globally, everyone is going, everyone's doing the same dance moves, and we are so united together as Africa, as the world, and I am so inspired by that, and that's what appealed to me. I didn't think it would be this big. Like, I just loved the story. I just loved what we were saying to the world and to Africa. We were saying that you are able to do it. You can dance, you can act, you can sing, you can do whatever you want to do, and you will make it. That's what appealed to me.
What appealed to me was just seeing that it's a dance series. We haven't had a dance series in South Africa, and it's the first of its kind. And to be part of that for me was just a huge deal, and that I was just dying to be a part of this. And so when I was cast in it, I just was so thankful and so grateful to be part of history, really. And I'm just hoping that the world receives it well.
Okay, so Sne, tell us about your character.
Girl, that's Zinhle Fire, honey. Yes, sir. She is the angel, the nail hand. She is the wig girl. She is that hood slay queen. So, Zinhle, I was about to say Sne. Zinhle is a very passionate dancer. She has a shaky relationship with the Vuyiswa and Ndombi because they were high school mates, and then they disowned her after she fell pregnant. So she's dealing with all of that. She's got quite a grudge, and she's spicy, but at the same time, like, as much as she has a grudge, she's very spicy, and she's very, she's vibrant. She's here. She's here for the girls. I mean, her relationship with Lady E is where you actually establish who Zinhle is, and how loving she is, and how fun she is. And yeah, Zinhle is the party girl, man. She's your party girl. And it's like very interesting twist about her. I'm not going to mention. I'm going to let you watch the show. But there's an interesting twist about Uzinhle as well. And yeah, you just need to.
I know what you're talking about. But
they don't know.
With Nolwazi, I am a high school character. I am a high school girl, a popular girl, you know. I am the light of the group, you know. A lot of things happen in the group. And the girls are going through their own womanhood. Whatever journey that they're going through that. And I tend to, you know, come with the light, you know, in the group. Be it an inquisitive question or, you know, just like, okay, guys, we can do it, whatever, you know, that kind of vibe. I come with that light in the group, and that's the character that I am. I'm fun. I go for whatever I want to go for. Yeah, I think I'm just that cute girl. I'm bubbly and cute, and I'm energetic. Yeah.
Lady E is the glue holder of the group. She's the older one. She's the more, you know, down to earth, responsible. Let's get things done. She's the Pantula that loves to be around the gents and hang around and play games and tell them stories. You know, she struggles to be around the females. So being around the Chotties is quite challenging for her, but it opens a different side to her as well. She is the kind of person where you're like, what is this girl about? You know, she doesn't give you too much. But as you spend time with her, you get to know more. She's swaggy, she's cool, she's the kind of person that you want to be friends with. So yeah.
So I know you guys all have a history in dance. So preparing for JIVA, was it difficult? Was it something new? I'll start with Sne again. Seeing we going in the circle. Let's just keep it up. Like, what was the training like for this?
It was for me, let's see, guys. Was it hard? I wouldn't say it was hard or difficult. I come as much as I don't have much training in dancing. I think it's just innate. It's just in me, you know. I think I was just really, like, God has just blessed me with that talent of just dance. Fitness wise, hey, every day was just like, let's do this. We can do this, you know. But I think everyone is so supportive in this journey of fitness. Sne, impeccable. Tom, Bonke, everyone was so absolutely like impeccable in the whole journey. They were so supportive also, because I won't lie, I'm not the fittest girl in the room. I am not, but I dance because I enjoy it, and it's a way of expressing myself, and that's how I grew up. I grew up dancing, singing, acting. You know, that has been my life. So when I got introduced to this kind of dimension, it wasn't too difficult. It's just the preparation, because we had 9 to 5 hours of just fitness and dance, you know. And I won't lie, our choreographers, Sne, everyone was so amazing in that, you know. They were so supportive. And also it takes a lot from yourself as an artist to give of yourself, because I also, like, I always make sure that I give everything of myself to my art. I respect my art. I live for my art, and that's how I live by, you know. So every day was a thing of, it's a day to grow.
Yeah,
it's a day to make sure that you can just be yourself and to do well and better at whatever that you're doing.
Yeah, it was really challenging for me to move from different styles, right? Because I'm more of a movement contemporary kind of girl. So to move to and moved from gom to amapiano, to at some point we did some traditional dancing, some Zulu dancing. So it was challenging to get my body used to, like, okay, now we're doing amapiano, so do this. Now we're doing gom, relax. Now mpantula, now it needs to be a little bit more, formal and more straight, So the transitioning and the transformations that needed to happen along the way was what was challenging. And obviously then keeping the fitness up so that you can perform with great energy on set, so that, when they said, let's go again, you can go again and again and again and again. So different takes, you need the same energy, So the fitness was important. So for me, that was the main challenging thing, was just remembering the different nuances to the different styles of choreography that we had to do. Yeah.
It's a little unfair for me to answer these type of questions and mention my challenges, because I am a professional dancer and choreographer. And I hate it because it just makes me feel like I'm blowing my own horn. Yeah, no, I am a dancer, so I was fine. No. I did have to learn. I am a versatile dancer, and I've always worked with the choreographers that were on the show. So it wasn't that difficult for me to adjust to their way of working. I think the difficult part for me, I think, would have to be the acting. That was, yeah. So it's the acting for me that was challenging. That was nerve-wracking from the moment I wake up until I sleep, because you get the script and then you read through this thing and you're like, I consistently ask myself, how do I prep? What's the step? What am I doing? Like, I didn't know what I was doing from the beginning up until the end. But I mean, I'm grateful that my whole team carried me through. I'm grateful that my co-cast, I spoke to them individually, from Zazi to Stella to Candice to Nox, and also speaking to the writers. One thing that I'm grateful for is that the directors, Mandla, Dube, and Scottness, Al Smith, and the creative writer, they would have sessions and they would check up on me and be like, yo, how are you finding the character? Are you gonna, not even are you gonna be able to perform? They knew that I was gonna be able to perform. They never doubted me a single second. And my fellow cast members said the same thing. They were like, it's not acting, it's you living the character. I remember speaking to Zazi in the car. She's like, stop thinking about it, because that's when you're gonna act. I remember speaking to, guys, there's like veterans in this show. There's like legends in this show. So I consulted as many people as possible. So I think that was my challenge. It was the acting part, and I got the best support every day. Even when I was nervous, waking up in the morning and going to sleep, the whole production had my back. To Gaupi, the DOP, she had my back. Like, everyone had my back. So that was the most challenging part for me.
So, okay, so like in African households, I'm sure we all know, and as a theme for the show as well, artistic careers are often seen as unrealistic. But like, all of you guys, actors, dancers, can you tell us who or what encouraged you to go for your dreams?
I think for me,
sorry.
I'll just try and make this very short and sweet. I used to dance with my cousins from young, and it was always a hobby that we did. And then when I started annoying my mom by me dancing in my bedroom every single day, I'd rather not watch TV. I'd rather sit in the room and dance. She was like, yo, this hobby of yours is annoying me, because I'm trying to have my normal child in the lounge while we're all eating. I never gave my mother that. I always just wanted to dance. So pressing her at first was challenging. She saw it as a hobby. She took me to a dance school, yes, but she still saw it as, oh no, she'll get over it. She'll get into graphic design, which I studied, but I dropped out. And then the day I decided to move to Joburg, she thought I was just going there for that gig and then I was going to come back. And I just didn't. And I just stayed in Joburg. She even flew up. And you know what? I had to sit my mom down, and my sister had to sit her down and be like, Mom, this is it. This is the route that I want to take. And I've had to live and prove to her the sustainability, because that's, as a parent, you're curious. I understood where my mother came from. She understood where I came from, and immediately her support that she had, which was minor then, grew even bigger when I moved to Johannesburg. So it was very challenging to tell my mom that I'm going to be a dancer when the industry had no room whatsoever for a successful dancer. Nothing. Even Somizi himself struggled. So I'm just grateful that my mother ended up believing in me, and I'm proud of myself for holding on. Yeah.
Oh.
That is beautiful, man.
Zazi.
With me, I grew up with a stutter, man. I was so shy. I think that was God's way of introducing me into this industry. I went into this. My mom took me to the Speech and Drama Academy, Helen O'Grady in Pietermaritzburg, which is where I'm from, to just, improve the way I speak and to be able to articulate, which I can do today. Thank you, God. So I'm so grateful for that. Trying not to cry, but I'm so grateful for that. And I'm grateful for the mother that I have. She has been so supportive, man. Growing up, having this talent within you, but not knowing what to do with it or where to place it, because you don't trust yourself, you don't believe in yourself. And that is huge for someone that is, I'm on a Netflix platform today, and that is only God. If the talent in me was not even true, but like, if I couldn't do anything with it, if I couldn't place it on the world, then it was going to be hard to be here. But now I'm here, and I'm diverting. That is the mother that I have. She was supportive in everything that I did, man. Like, when she discovered that, this girl can sing, because I thought I was going to be a singer. I could sing, I could dance, I could act. Multi-talented, babes. Do you understand? Yes, girl, you know what it is. I could sing, though. That's the first talent that I met and God introduced me to when I was in grade 5. That's the first talent. I was like, okay, I can sing. I have a voice. Oh my goodness, So after JIVA, I was like, everything is possible, child. Everything is possible. Everything is possible. I'm grateful for my mom. I'm so grateful for my mom. She was always supportive. That is it.
Okay, Stella.
So I come from a family of like people who love to tell stories, and are really funny. Like, my dad is very expressive when he tells stories. He doesn't find himself funny, but I always found him to be so funny. My big brother loved to dance. I used to always watch him learn Usher's moves. So before we had like streaming, we used to press record and on a
video cassette.
Yeah, the video
yes.
cassette. Yes. And then he rewind. He learns Usher's choreography. They used to put him Usher in high school, and I used to stand behind him and try and do what he's doing. Obviously annoying him, but he was my role model because he was just so good. And so I learned dancing through him, and then eventually I just got the bone of also wanting to tell stories and make people laugh. When I realized, oh my gosh, I love doing this. I love making people laugh. I love being someone else. I love escaping from me a little, because I was a little bit insecure and a little bit shy when I was growing up. So that my talent and my gift came from my family, from watching funny people around me, and it got ignited. At some point I was just like, no, I feel like this is what I want to do. The first time I did a school play, there was no drama in my primary school, but in grade 7, they were like, just do a farewell play. We're like, what is a play? They were like, just do something that you find funny. And I remember I was in a little group, and I was performing something. I don't know what I was doing, but every time I would speak, the children would be in tears, in stitches, just laughing at whatever it is that I'm doing. And I was like, no, this is something that I really want to do. So I did it in high school, did the drama. I went to go study further in varsity, and the rest is history. And I just keep finding out more things about me because I'm always curious about myself. I'm like, oh, you can dance. Oh, you can be a stand-up comedian. Oh, and whatever I'm doing, I want to do it to the best of my ability. I want to see what I do next.
Me too. Thank you so much, guys. This was lovely. I'm excited for the world to see.
Thank you. You've been lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank
Have
you,
a
guys.
Bye.
That was the cast of JIVA. All 5 episodes of JIVA is now available to watch on Netflix. So guys, I've been, over the last 2 weeks, preparing for these interviews. I've just been watching Sweet Tooth and JIVA. And one was way more stressful than the other, I must say.
I'm going to go with Sweet Tooth.
Yeah. So I just want to say quickly about JIVA, well, I don't really give my opinion of the show, but it's a very easy watch. And if you like dance movies, you will enjoy this. And it feels like a dance movie. So it feels like Step Up. It feels like all of those kind of movies. But it also feels South African, man. Do you know what I mean? And I think
that sounds cool.
And I think for a South African, dance is such a big part of South Africa. So it's great that we also have dance content here. But yeah, so that's basically JIVA. Great show. It's and it's easy watch because only 5 episodes. Then Sweet Tooth. Oh my gosh, the opposite of an easy watch. It's very good.
Trigger warnings everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
I was trying to figure out, was this made during the pandemic? Because so much of our real life was in there. And I was like, this is not going to help anti-vaxxer rhetoric at all. Just the whole thing of what came first.
No, it was made. So according to Neil Sandilands, he said that the show was obviously written before the pandemic, but because of COVID and that kind of stuff, they couldn't film right away. So because during that time that they couldn't film, the writers could obviously add more things to it. So they could add because a lot of things like the sanitizer moments and
yes. Listen, it was, but as triggering as it was amazing. Just because, we binged it in 2 days, regardless. It was just such a good story and plotline. I'm just bleak that. So you know how they make shows and then they kind of leave it on a cliffhanger because they want to get renewed. I feel like they did that, and I'm going to be very upset if it does not get renewed for the second season, just because the ending of season 1 was not adequate to quench the knowledge I need to know about where the story goes. So yeah, I really hope it gets picked up for the second season.
I googled the graphic novel just to try and see if maybe there's spoilers in there, just to know what happened there. But there wasn't. It's not the same. You can see it's based on the same thing, but the stories are so different. I was like, damn. I was hoping that I could get some no. Oh no. But anyway, it's a great show. It's very well done and it's very sweet also. I thought it was quite sweet, even though some parts are
No, I think on the whole, the casting of that little boy is amazing, and he's brilliant in getting you to fall in love with him and be interested in his story. But then as they bring in the other characters and you see that character develop, it's a really, really good show.
Okay, let's do some crashing on, and we'll start with you, Rebecca. What have you been crashing on lately?
I think Netflix has been trying to catch me up with what's been going on over the past 5 years of Netflix. And so I've been recommended what to watch. Why Are You Like This? And Black AF with Rashida Jones and Kenya, I think, is in Paris. And Why You Like This? I was surprised that the reviews said people didn't enjoy it as much, but I enjoyed the show. Yeah.
Julianne?
I'm reliving my teenage girl crush fantasies with Adam Brody in Netflix's new, well, not new, I think it's really old because there are 3 seasons. So that was exciting for me because it's something I can binge and have more than 1 season of. Startup. It's got, it kills me when I forget the name. It's got Adam Brody and the white guy from Wakanda, the actor.
The white guy from Wakanda.
Martin Freeman?
Oh, yes, Martin Freeman.
Is it Martin Freeman? Yes, that guy. Sorry, in my head, it was like that was the last big role I could picture him in.
I was like Andy Serkis. You said white guy from Wakanda.
Yeah, Martin Freeman, and it's so intense. Like it's Steve refuses to watch it anymore because he says it's too anxiety ridden. Because like it's these 3 characters that end up in dark situations and they're trying to find their way out, and it's very much like an underdog story, but with bad stuff, but then also good stuff. And just honestly, Adam Brody is still a treat. And yes, I'm loving it at the moment.
You said you watched Mayor of Easttown as well.
Yes, I can't say I'm crushing on it because we finished it in one night and now it's gone forever. I'm kidding. But it was also so good. Like we stayed up till 2 a.m, like young people binging, because you just get so hooked into the plot and the storyline and where it's going. And as always, Kate Winslet is amazing. Like flip, she's so good. But just also the way that mystery unfolds and the way that plot twists and turns and like leaves you guessing and wanting more is just, I mean, it's a bit of a slow burn in the first couple of episodes, but damn, it's so good.
Okay. So for me, either then JIVA and Sweet Tooth, trying to get anything else in was madness. But I watched Too Hot to Handle, which is chaotic. So if you haven't heard of the show, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I don't do reality TV, so
Okay.
quick rundown.
Okay, so quick rundown. Basically, they take about maybe I don't even know 10 people from around the world, and they put them in this house. But they are like these 10 people who are just having like a ball of a time, who just drink and have sex and just love their lives. And then they don't know they're on the show where there's like $100,000 prize money. Well, they know they're going on a show, but they think it's like a show where you can just have as much sex as you want type show. But like, there's $100 prize money. But in order to get that money, you have to refrain from all kind of sexual activity, like no kissing, no masturbation, nothing. And like, but it's like these really hot people in this house, and they are used to just having sex all the time. So the point of the like retreat is that they have to like grow as people to be able to have like emotional connections with others. So last season was quite interesting, but like but it was like a lot of the people grew a lot, but this season they are just like debaucherous. They are just doing crazy shit.
So wait, so if you give in and you have sex, do you get voted out of the island? Like
no, so you lose. So the prize money starts at 100K, and for every sexual activity, you lose money. So I think like if you have sex, you lose 20,000.
Oh my.
So
okay.
It is. Why could Rebecca's face? She's like, what?
This is essentially like a psychological experiment, a psychiatric experiment that they just
reality
filming.
TV is a psychological experiment.
But like, it's wild. And like, so what happens is, so last season they were like, okay, you're on the show Too Hot to Handle. They don't know what Too Hot to Handle is. It's cool. This season they pretend it was a whole different show. And then the people obviously know what Too Hot to Handle is. So like there's like this cone, like this AI cone that comes up, and she like accesses your behavior. And she's like, she pops out, and they're like, oh shit, we're on Too Hot to Handle. And they're like, no. And then so they do cut people off if you're not growing enough, or like if you're keeping other people back, and then they will chuck you off because they bring new people in. But then so Netflix released 4 episodes, and there's 10 episodes, but I've seen all of them because I'm reviewing it. But the first 4 episodes, in the 4th episode, they brought in the South African girl, man. So like there's usually
South Africans just love popping up everywhere unprovoked. Just everywhere. Why are we like this?
And then she is just like, but she's beautiful, a beautiful girl. But she is just like messy as how she just wants to like sleep with people, and oh my gosh, it is so chaotic, and so I can't help but enjoy it. But also Lebo, who was in season 1, he does his commentaries on Instagram which are just perfect. Like he narrates like every episode and it's so funny. But so yeah, that also really love Doja Cat's Planet Her album. I've been listening to it non-stop. um that was the final episode of Conan. I watched that this week. I was crying. It was just the saddest thing ever. Yeah, he's got a new show coming, but it's his last episode of Late Night. So I've been watching his last few episodes, and then the last one, just like he just like gave like a speech thanking all the people in his life, and it was just so sweet, and he's meant so much to me, and yeah. So so those are things I'm crashing on this week. It's a lot, but I listened to quite a lot of his podcasts as well, and he talks about all the people that inspired him, and he was so grateful. But there's so many people that come on, and a lot of them did articles and wrote tweets and stuff about how much he inspired this whole new generation of like weird, funny young people. And it's really amazing, and it's like it's lovely. It was just my heart.
Sorry, you said weird, funny, and then I got triggered. Have you guys seen Bo Burnham Inside?
Yes, we spoke about it last week.
Oh, shit, mind, cut that out.
Yeah, no, fuck, that like killed me. I was like in a ball crying at the end of it. But
So
yes,
good.
last week's Crashing On, I spoke about it. On that note, it's our farewell for season 2. We wish you all luck and happiness and all the good things. Keep warm this winter. We'll be back later in July. Keep your eyes peeled for our socials for more info. But yeah, that's it from us. The podcast can be found at Crushing On Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can find more information about this and all our other episodes at our website, crushingonpodcast.com, and send any feedback to crushingonpod@gmail.com. Join our Facebook group, Crushing On Club, where we chat about the show, celebrity news, recommendations, the whole shebang. Let us know what you think about what was discussed in this week's episode by sending us a voice note or email to crushingonpod@gmail.com. The show is produced by me, Karen, and Rebecca Barches. The show is edited and engineered by Rebecca Barches. Our logo was designed by Nathifa Maroof. And the show was created in partnership with IGN Africa. If you like the show, tell everyone that you can any way that you can. Keep up to date with all our episodes by subscribing to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And please rate and review the episodes on Apple Podcasts, as it helps others find the show. We'll be back next week with another in-depth conversation with a pop culture lover. See you then!